So I called him. I said, "Where's the spreadsheet?" He says, "Well, that's just that." He said, "He says, isn't it that old?" I said, "No."
Because that's the first thing I looked at. I was like, "Where's the spreadsheet?" But yeah, that's good.
No, but you Amanda.
Yeah, he said she's not feeling well.
Okay, we're on there.
All right. Well, I think we've got 4 more minutes. All right, so you want us to do roll call?
Yes, you'll know.
Okay. All right, we're going to start this meeting now, okay? We're going to do a roll call, and then we'll try and get this down pretty quick and let everybody go. Okay, you want to do roll call?
Mr. Hampton?
Present.
Mr. Harvey?
Here.
Ms. Jackson? Ms. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Rawls?
Here.
And Mr. Chris Stone?
Here. Okay, well, I want to welcome you all. We're going to just go down by the list. I think this is going to be kind of quick and easy and won't hurt. So we'll start off with the FAB, with the fireworks.
Okay, so the fireworks, kind of one of our easier ones to go through. It tends to be kind of par for the course. This year we are asking for $22,000. We did have some, basically an entire show left over from previous ATAX dollars. So this will get us through the New Year's Eve and July 4th of next year. Kind of same rundown as we've done in the past. Kelly has gotten really good at laying out the stanchions and making sure that everything is safe. We have included a full breakdown of our expenses. One thing that is a little bit different is last year, the pyrotechnics company did let us know that there was a price increase due to this whole supply chain situation, and they are expecting an equal increase this year. So that's what we have accounted for in our numbers. And otherwise, it should be pretty similar to what we've done in the past. So does anyone have, Kelly, did I leave anything out?
No, it's very good. Yeah. That's very good coverage.
Any questions?
Yeah.
What's the percentile increase that you're estimating?
It was 20% this year, and they're basically telling us to expect another 20% this coming year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to the marketing.
Okay. On the marketing side, what we ask for in this application is to cover, to help cover some of our event marketing for the big festivals, but obviously outside of the 50-mile mark. I did notice, if I can give you guys, I did notice that I had a typo on one of the pages. If I can give you guys a revised. The main gist of it is correct. I just had forgotten to make this one change on page 3. Yeah. And so it goes towards all of our, kind of standard events. We've not lumped Folly's 50th into this, but it does include Mermaids and Mateys, the fireworks on New Year's Eve, Taste of Folly, Sea and Sand, 4th of July fireworks. It includes a fee for the marketing company who handles all of our marketing, which is my company, Little Dog Agency. And we've included a FAB event coordinator fee, basically for the events that don't really generate revenue, like the polar plunge, the market hops, things like that are really just kind of to build more business for the beach. And we don't have the opportunity to recoup money that we can give to Kelly. And then also, the market hops have been a really kind of fun addition over the last couple of years, which was really COVID driven, but we've determined that they're pretty popular events, so we would like to continue doing those. And quite possibly even the Coffin Island route that we did a couple years ago. So we've got all that in there. Our budgets break down toward the back by event, so you can see exactly what we're putting towards the out of market marketing. And I think that was it.
Okay. Any questions?
Whatever happened to Folly dollars? Did that not pan out?
It is. It did pan out, and it's still around. In fact, people are still using it. I actually get the notifications when people buy them or use them.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're still being
They're still being
purchased
used.
and they're still being used. We actually had some kind of fun ideas that we were kicking around with the tourism board about putting packages together for people out of town using Folly dollars. That way they get to pick their accommodations or whatever they want to do. So yeah, it's still there.
Okay, so now the 50th anniversary.
A fun one.
Yeah.
They're all fun.
Yeah.
But this one's new, obviously, so we did ask last year, in fact, we asked for 25,000 last year, we were awarded 50,000 last year. And once we started putting, actually numbers on paper, we realized that we actually had severely under asked to pull off something this big, but we want it to be a really nice, basically 9 days carved out with a couple of bigger events on the weekend sides of it, but a lot of, sort of on private business events and also some local focused events during the week. Obviously, we know that these funds can only be used to promote tourism, but we have some FAB dollars set aside that we'd like to use to promote some of the locally focused events, such as the resident brunch and things like that. So you can see, obviously, we've got basically a year to go, so there's gonna be changes that happen here, but we've been trying to make at least some broad strokes and start to narrow down what we wanna do. Kelly has been really good at investigating the costs that are gonna go along with these. Again, we can't promise that they're dead on, but they should be pretty close. You can see kind of the list of.
Yeah, we just broke out each event for you guys in the packet, so you can see what we have planned. But obviously, none of this money is geared towards like our resident brunch or anything like that. It's really like the gala, and then that last Saturday event, like the Shagging Up at Pier event, which we've already spoke to Charleston County about, and the street festival on the 30th. Those larger scale events is really what this is designed for.
Yeah, Charleston County is very excited to get on board with all this, with the pier opening.
Yeah.
Hopefully a little sooner.
Great discussion with Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're excited to work with them and partner on some of these.
All right. Any questions? It's a great layout. I mean, it's a pretty big event too. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like-
it's a lot,
We wanna make it really, really special,
Yeah, we wanna do something almost every day for those 9 days, some of them much smaller in scale than others, but. Yeah.
When do you anticipate everything would be finalized in these terms? I know it's over a year out.
Yeah, you need the budget to be finalized?
Right.
Yeah, the draft budget is up now, I would say probably by January, February, we come much closer to that final number. So, yeah, we're still trying to book venues and things like that, based on this grant. Once we do that, then we'll start doing venues and catering and things like that, so, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So, Save the Light.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Ann Peterson. I am the chairperson of the board of Save the Life. And we have requested $50,000 in ATAX funds this year. The last time we were given money, accommodations tax, we used it towards a feasibility study to determine next steps in the lighthouse preservation. Specifically, this year's funds will be used to begin the process of reducing the exposure of the brick in the lower section of the tower due to waves and salt water, and eliminate potential damage to the cofferdam and tower due to wave action and flooding. Needless to say, this will be an ongoing process that will cost much more than $50,000. We've been very blessed to get money from the state for the past few years, but that is our request, to keep a nice tourism symbol intact and to preserve it.
How much did we give you last year? Do you remember?
We got 25,000 last year, and the feasibility study we did for the next steps in preservation was 29,950.
You know, I think it's just, a wonderful, symbol of Folly Beach, and everyone, I've been here 25 plus years, and there's not a week that goes by that somebody doesn't stop me and say, hey, which way is the lighthouse? You can see it from most directions, but, so it definitely ties into what our funding priorities are. So.
Didn't the prior year y'all didn't take any money and you donated it back?
That's right, during the pandemic, because we were certainly limited in what we could do.
Right.
And, as an acknowledgement that sort of everybody was dealing with difficulties, we did not make a request.
So this would just catch you up to where
Yeah,
you were.
to some extent, catch us up in the annual 25,000, yes.
So when was the cofferdam finished? How old is it?
I'm gonna phone a friend.
Cofferdam was finished in 2010,
Okay.
but there's been some significant damage
Oh, really?
to
Okay.
it. Corps of Engineers came out and took a look at it and said, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this. So that's why we engaged International Chimney Corporation to come down to a feasibility study. They've come up with some solutions. That's the next thing. We've got to get that fixed before we go on to the next.
Basically, water now comes over, what worked 12 years ago, water is now coming over the top of the cofferdam. So you have water sitting inside of it. So the idea will be to cap it off.
Okay.
And then to set it up so that they can do ongoing work inside to the stairs and things like that.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, so Coastal Family Vacation Foundation.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm here representing Coastal Family Vacation Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization donating vacations to people and their families fighting cancer. We at Coastal Family Vacation believe that Folly is for families. We feel as though with our foundation we can generate more tourism through families visiting Folly that may have never vacationed here before or visited Folly before. They would bring their families here. They would in turn, by word of mouth, tell their other family members or friends to come visit Folly, tour Folly. It would generate more business for Folly using these ATAX dollars. So that is our goal with CFVF. I am an active board member. I'm a director, and I'm here tonight representing my aunt and uncle, Bobby and Dina Dockery, who started this foundation last year. Our year anniversary was July 7th when we had our year anniversary July 7th. Within the first 12 months, we donated 2 vacations to families fighting cancer. Neither family has ever visited Folly or vacationed to Folly, so we're excited to be able to give them a vacation coming here. We just did our first fundraiser. Our fundraiser generated about $10,000. within that $10,000, we will be able to match the $30,300 that we were asking for. My aunt and uncle are full-time residents of Folly Beach. They are the founder and the president of CFVF. They live at 518 East Hudson Avenue, and they are full-time residents. They couldn't be here tonight because of a vacation conflict. But Coastal Family Vacation Foundation is a nonprofit organization providing qualified individuals who are fighting cancer with an all-inclusive vacation. We pay for their transportation, their groceries, a nice meal at a restaurant, a photography session so that they could remember the experience with their family. Some of them may not live much longer than the vacation, so that's kind of like a memory thing for them. We provide amenities like a golf cart, bike rentals, surf lessons, anything that they may be interested in for the week. Applicants apply through their own colleges. They must be a South Carolina resident. We are currently working to generate our efforts to the upstate, to the Midlands area. So all of the ATAX dollars that hopefully we would receive from you guys would be over the 50-mile mark. CFVF was founded because my aunt spent a lot of time in the spring of 2021 with our cousin Stephanie, who she was fighting malignant melanoma. My aunt, who spent time with her here at Folly, she invited her to her house. She spent time here with her family. It just gave Stephanie a time away from doctor's visits, away from, the day-and-day treatments, doctor's visits, sitting at home, not being able to do much because of cancer. She came down with her 3 children. She left here relaxed, renewed. She basically, told my aunt how much she enjoyed being here, and it gave her time to relax and focus on her children, make memories with them, because she passed away a few months after that. She passed away a year ago in August of 2021, and we knew that as a family, our board members are family. We're all family. We're aunts, uncles, cousins, related. We knew all being on a board together, that having several family members who have fought cancer, we knew we needed to do something to alleviate the pressure that cancer brings. We look forward to awarding individuals battling cancer with Folly Vacations as a means to step away from the day-to-day grind from doctors' treatments and tests. We have awarded 2 vacations so far. We're wanting to do another round of vacations, hopefully after Labor Day, depending on the dollars that we may or may not receive. The $30,300 that we've asked for, we're able to match the 25% with 75-75, which would provide 5 families vacations here in Folly. We've provided the budget cost for that, and that would give 5 families a way to come. With the help of these funds, we would bring families here who in return would appreciate the relaxed environment. They would leave here feeling refreshed. They would in turn generate more tourism through word of mouth. We are so confident that Folly is for families that we're willing to do a marketing campaign that would have a videographer video our awardees. They would tell about their experience here in Folly. They would tell how much they enjoyed coming here versus a beach like Surfside or Myrtle Beach that would have a bunch of distractions that Folly wouldn't have. They would be able to focus on their families here and make lasting memories. They would tell about their experience in the video, and then we would in return post it on our social media, our websites and stuff to generate more tourism. We guarantee that any funds awarded by Folly ATAX dollars would be spent supporting Folly Beach and families living more than 50 miles away. Our current marketing efforts, like I said, are focused on the Midlands and upstate, so the 50 miles wouldn't be an issue. Our current bank balance is quite a bit higher due to our fundraiser we just ended in July. But we do have the funds to match it. In June, we asked for $25,000 from the Folly Tourism and Vacation Promotion Committee, but we've not yet heard back from them. We also requested $1,000 from the Community Promotions Committee, in which we did receive the $1,000. And in closing, I would like to add that we want to be anchored in Folly so much so that we chose the iconic Morris Island Lighthouse as our logo for our foundation. And we would be honored if you would join us in making a difference in the lives of families and their loved ones fighting cancer in South Carolina.
Okay. Any questions?
Have you ever talked to Coastal Community Foundation?
I have not personally, my aunt may have.
You may wanna write that one down. They get a lot of grant money for things like you're talking about.
Mhm.
And also, I don't remember the name of it, but it's, the Hope House down on Calhoun.
Yes,
You've talked to them.
we have, yes
Okay.
ma'am.
And then the McDonald House, if you talk to them,
Okay.
they also support lodging if there's children with cancer for
Uh-huh.
their families, and they may, let that be part of what you're talking about. But the
Okay.
Coastal Community Foundation is probably something that would have a recurring grant for something like this.
Okay,
And the Roper Foundation is the other one. Each hospital has a foundation that supports cancer patients with donations for things like this.
okay.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Warrior Surf Foundation?
Okay. Hi there,
Hi.
I'm Candy Oliver, I'm the Director of Development with Warrior Surf, and this is Stephanie Dasher, she's our Executive Director. So Warrior Surf, are any of y'all familiar with that? Well, I'll just kind of do a brief thing, just in case you're not. So we, of course, are a 12-week program that is free for veterans and their families who might be suffering from PTSD or brain injury, or any other transitional issues. We've been established since 2015 here at Folly. We have since then put through 600 veterans, or almost 700 now. Yeah, getting closer to 700 veterans since we've been founded. This year we're up to about 72. The demand we see is definitely increasing, and because we are a free program, you know, we never want to turn anyone away. So we do have a wait list. The program basically, like I said, is a 12-week program that consists of adaptive surf therapy combined with yoga and then wellness sessions. And that's just part of our ongoing programs that we provide. We feel like we've been a staple here at Folly since 2015. You might have seen the van recently. Have you seen the van wrapped? Okay. So we're very excited about that. But we, along with the program, we do have other special events that we put on. We do, you know, the yoga on the Yorktown, our surfboard auction, and what we are coming to the board with is something we want to do in 2023 in September, which is a surf competition. So we have provided the budget there for that. This would be the first time we have ever done that. We have a pretty national and local reach right now. Just like looking at our analysis of our social media, we pulled up some numbers real quick, just for marketing purposes, just to kind of keep, you know, kind of where our brand is going. But with Instagram, we're getting 27,000 impressions. And then with Facebook, 93,000, and that's over 15 posts. So that's pretty significant. We are receiving a lot of inquiries from people that are beyond South Carolina that are interested in what Warrior Surf is doing. I think a lot of it has to do with, of course, our veterans are not always local to Folly, that are participating in the program, and their family members are not, so they're learning about Folly. But also with the success stories, they're sharing that on their social media, people are picking it up and just, wanting to know what's going on there, what's happening. So we did recently, Stephanie was just in Fox Weather, came down and did something down at Third West that just aired. And they had one of their meteorologists, Stephanie taught her how to surf, and she was able to get up on the board. So we do feel like the reach is definitely beyond that 50 miles. But as far as the actual program that we're requesting funds for the surf competition, Stephanie really is the visionary behind that. So I'm gonna let her kind of talk about what we're thinking as far as that goes.
So I'm sure many of you remember when Andy started Warrior Surf Foundation in 2015, and I like to joke, well, I have better hair, but also that, it's just him on the street corner asking a veteran, like, hey, do you want to get in the water? And it's grown tremendously since then. We went from a weekend-only program to a 6-week program to a 12-week program that includes all the things that Candy was talking about. And for a few years now, we've had this sort of desire to do a surf competition that's inclusive of veterans who have disabilities, children, other adults, and just make it something, a really big community event that draws people to Folly Beach. I think that, I know we've got other people presenting that are talking about surf competitions as well. My opinion is the more the merrier. One of the most profound and really inspiring things that I recently experienced actually was one of our veterans that I personally put through the program and I think pushed on one of her first waves actually competed in the Wahine.
Oh, neat.
And so that was really cool for us to see that sort of transition and that growth. And I think that there's a lot of events here or in the area local to Charleston that are based on, maybe not so healthy ideas. And so having a surf competition that brings the community together that is based on something that's a healthy activity, I think is really powerful, and it sends a message. I think that Folly Beach is this bright, shining beacon of what it means to support veterans, to support families, and to support communities. Because ultimately what we're looking for is giving veterans the opportunity to be positive, active contributors to our socioeconomic system.
Any questions? Thank you very much. Okay, Eastern Surfing Association.
How are y'all? Marshall Bass, and I run the Eastern Surfing Association. We've been here a lot over the years, and we appreciate your help. We run the seasonal surf contest series from April to October. Our numbers, we didn't include our last contest a couple weekends ago, which is our biggest one. It's a 2-day Governor's Cup. We normally have anywhere from 120 to 150. We had 317.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. We almost didn't finish, but we had to cut it down and everything. But anyway, we're family oriented. We've got a lot of local kids, but we've got a lot of kids that come up from Georgia, from Jacksonville, Florida, and the northern part of Florida, northern South Carolina, the Pollies, up to Wilmington. We didn't ask for any funds during COVID. We didn't run any contests. We sort of got behind the 8 ball last year, but we sort of behind the 8 ball now with equipment. It's sitting for basically a year. We've had a lot of weathering and everything else. Saltwater doesn't give up. But anyway, we feel very positive with where we are right now. We've had record numbers, more record numbers this year of turnout than any year previously. We've got a makeup contest this Saturday that we thought we would have about 50 kids and adults. Their parents come as well. And we, right now, I think the last number was 117 or something like that as of today. So everything's at the washout. We try to give back to the kids that can't afford a surfboard or a wetsuit. We try to do it anonymously. Don't want to point somebody out, but everything we do, we're a nonprofit. We're the largest amateur surfing organization in the country now, or in the world actually. But we put everything in the packet like we always have, and just, if you don't have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Any questions?
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all.
Okay, Wahine Classic.
Good evening, my name's Nicole Elko, I'm the director of the Folly Beach Wahine Classic. I am a Folly Beach resident, I live at 403 East Huron Avenue, and this was our 20th anniversary event.
Wow.
It was the biggest event we've ever had, and certainly the most successful. So I have been the director for about 5 years now, and the directorship kind of rolls over every 5 years or so. We were fortunate to have the original directors there with us at the contest, Kelly Kane Wood and Katie Coriel. So it was a really nice celebration of the legacy of this contest that started out as, you know, a few girls hanging out at the washout 20 years ago to what it was this year, which was an event that attracted 225 competitors, ages 4 to 73, women only, and we enjoyed the washout the last week of July. There were well over 550 people on the beach. At one point, I thought you could kind of walk along the tents either side of the judging stand. As far as marketing, let me tell you a little bit more about the contest. So every year we have pro and amateur events, as well as novice divisions and the teeny wahine for the little girls. And the pro events, we have a shortboard and a longboard divisions, right? And they're open, so any age girl can sign up for it. The winners, kind of the diversity in the winners really captures the spirit of the wahine, and I think why it's such an important event for Folly. We had of the four places 1, 2, 3, and 4 in shortboard and longboard, we had a winner from each state, from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And we had one from every one of the age divisions, from Minihune, so there was an under 11 girl that won in the pro division, as well as all the way up through what we call our goddess division, which is our over 50. So the diversity was just wonderful in the winners of the pro division. And that's our mission, is to inspire and inspire women of all ages, diversities, and races and beliefs. And we do that through that weekend of love for the ocean and surf and camaraderie and sisterhood at the washout. So in terms of marketing, we do most of our marketing through social media, through my work as the director, through volunteers that help with that. We did put one ad in the city paper, so that was our marketing budget this year, really. But we're picked up by the Charleston Magazine, by Post and Courier, of course, by the Folly Current. Even American Surf Magazine picked us up this year. We had sponsors coming in from all over the place. We had folks from California reaching out to us saying they wanted to get their brand in front of the girls on the East Coast. So that's been really successful. It really blossomed, with this 20-year celebration. So we requested $9,000 last year. We would like to ask you to please do the same again this year. The budget is outlined, and I think that's pretty much all I wanted to go over, unless y'all have any questions. Thank you very much for your continued support of this amazing event.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, I'm just going to pass these out as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. City of Folly Beach. Good evening.
My name's Aaron Cook, I'm the city administrator, and I've got 3 applications from the city of Folly Beach. Starting off with public works support for tourism. State codes allows the city to fund city services related to tourists from A-tax money. We estimate that roughly half of our public works budget is geared towards serving the tourist population, specifically in our 1,059 and growing short-term rentals that bring in those 4,700 bedrooms, bringing 11,000 people to the city every summer. So on the project budget, we're asking for $309,691.75 for public works this year. And the reason that's such an odd number is that the city is sweeping up the leftover A-tax money after full. We had enough money to give everyone who asked for money that they asked for. And based on our last year's applications, there were about $109,000 left. And so we added it to public works this year. There are no specific projects called out here, and that is on the advice of our comptroller, finance director, Lee Gessner, who prefers for accounting purposes not to have it tied to any specific project. It just goes to fund the department and its daily operations. So on the back page, or page 2, total project budget is $959,726. That's 50% of this year's public works budget. And we're requesting, it says 200, but it's actually $309,691.75 for public works.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
Any questions?
Yeah, real quick, Aaron, how many rental units did you say that?
We had 1,059 the last time I checked. It could be higher than that today.
If I'm not mistaken, we have like 2,500 residents on Folly.
According to the last census, we're down to about 2,000. I'm not saying that the last census is correct, but that is the official government number of around 2,000 permanent residents.
That was a year ago,
Permanent
right?
residents, not residents, you're talking.
Our residences, yeah, we've got about 2,400 residential parcels on the beach.
Yeah, that's right,
42% of the residential parcels on Folly Beach were licensed as short-term rentals as of about 3 weeks ago.
And that census was over a year ago, so it's probably even smaller.
It's interesting, on April 5th, we had about 2,300 registered voters, but the census is telling us we only have 2,000 people. So,
Oh.
but the census is the census, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
And next up, I believe, was the public safety ask. This is $600,000. I think it's an increase of $50,000 from last year. Double check.
Yeah, it's 550.
We're applying under the same provision of state law that lets us ask to fund city services if they're geared towards the provision of services for tourists, using that same 50% of the budget number. Total project number then would be budget would be $2,039,387, which is 1/2 of the public safety budget, and we are requesting $600,000.
What's the total budget for public safety?
Some quick math, 4,078,800-ish.
Gotcha.
Actually, I don't have to do the math, that's in the back for that. $4,705,438. Any questions?
So that only went up 50,000, but a lot of the other asks, not y'all, but others, went up 20% or more. So is that enough of an ask for police, knowing, how it is out here and what's getting ready to happen again?
We believe that that's a fair ask in consideration of the outside groups that are requesting.
I just wanted to ask that. I don't know if y'all need more police or what.
People, firefighters.
Firefighters, I mean.
We did talk about it, but in terms of funding the city services, we agreed that we would not make any ask that would eat into an outside organization's request.
Okay. All right, then.
And the final is for $150,000, which would go to the beach preservation fund. We do have some specific projects listed on here, morning dunes and walkovers. We have the beach preservation fund, which is generally funded by ATAX, local ATAX and state ATAX. We put money in there. This money in particular, we are working on the next phase of our growing rebuild. We got the master plan done last year, and we are now in permitting. We're pre-application meetings for permitting. And once we go to permitting, we're hoping to get the actual construction started right in time for the next renourishment in 2024. We don't have a firm price tag, but we think it's going to be around $5 billion. The next phase of loans. So we're asking for $150,000 from you guys this year. I imagine we'll be asking for some more next year, and then applying for hopefully some state assistance.
How many growers do we have? Most of them are buried, aren't they?
I don't know how many we have total. I can send you the report.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know. We did 8 in the first phase. I think we've got 12 identified in the next phase. They're all on the east end. This isn't any of the ones down here. More of the ones down here are buried. And we've had, wider beach down here. It's down there that we're working on the next phase. I can send you. I'll send you the master report. It's got the location and conditions of all the buildings. So they are along the entire length of the island.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'm always the one that probably says too much, but this is why they come here. So are you confident about renourishing the beach financially, that the state will come in? And I always get nervous about beach renourishment.
We are confident. We're fortunate that our beach preservation fund, we're up to roughly $9 million, which would let us match by ourselves with no state assistance, let us match a $70 million project.
Okay.
The state, thanks to some hard work from some folks in this room, the state is now setting aside specific money to be given out for renourishment. So we're fairly confident that we'll get some assistance from them too.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So you want to just go ahead and vote now? Do we do that? What's the procedure? Do we have to
If some, so we're kind of at a crossroads. If you want to discuss, if you want to go ahead and move for full approval, we can do that. Or if you need to set another meeting up for discussion, there's that.
But we can discuss it, and then I think we have time. It's up to you all, so we can discuss it and probably make a decision tonight, so we don't have to do another meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
We can meet again. I like all of y'all.
Yeah, I think since everything is being, as it is, funded, I don't see anything in there that has gone awry, or I see where there's a problem. Everything seems to be, the only new one we have is the one for the cancer.
Should that be funded at that amount?
Coastal Family Vacation Foundation.
I guess my question is, that's a fairly big ask for something that's new.
Yeah.
I know the money's there, but everything starts small, or most things start small.
Right.
Just like Warrior Surf started small and it grew, and we funded that for a long time. My only thought is a fairly big ask for something that's fairly small. I know it's important and beneficial. That would be my only comment. It's not saying no.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a comment for 30,000 for 25 folks.
Well, the precedent also is, I don't know how long I've been here, maybe only about 4 years. When Warrior Surf came and asked the same ask, we said no. In that, how do you specifically pick those 5 VRBOs that get that money? How do you pick those 5 places? And they came in with the same ask. And we said we can't specifically pick a particular rental agency or somebody to say, you get this money. And that is a big ask. I love the idea. I think we used to have a VRBO, and we donated a week sometimes to people with cancer, and that was part of me telling our other companies that do that. I just think that's a big number, like you're saying. When you look at
So,
all the other needs.
right, so I'm not saying not fund it, but maybe fund it at a lower level, and then that will give them the impetus to go to those other foundations that you were mentioning to gather the money that they want, and then they can come back next year and show us, hey, this is what we did with your money, and we took the X dollars, and now we've grown, we were able to do this, with it. I mean, that's just a thought. But if we give them all their money that they need for that, when they are just now starting out and haven't reached out to a lot of other folks, it sounds like.
Yeah.
It might be good to scale it back somewhat, maybe by half or 2/3, and then reallocate that money to something that would bring in more folks. It could be split amongst the other applicants, or it could be rolled like we've done in the past.
Of course, the fact that they have to apply through their oncologist
Yeah, that's a
in
big.
the mid-level area of the state, or up in York County and the Charlotte area, that spreads widely, and if people are talking about that and all the cancer patients know they can apply for that, I think that does tend to extend the reach.
And I don't disagree. I think it's more the amount of the ask for the number of the people that will be coming in. And I strongly want to fund something that is new and not just fund something that is, no offense to anyone here, that's come back multiple times, which is wonderful, because you have wonderful ongoing organizations. So that's just my own thing. I mean, we'll I'm not in such an opposition that I won't be willing to vote for funding it fully, but it's just something to think about, whether you want to fund that amount of money for something that's that new, when historically I don't think we've typically done that for somebody, for a group that has that small of a population coming into to the beach.
Well, I think the fact that we have the money, it would be easy to fund them, but maybe put a stipulation in there that they seek out some rental companies that may match them with some free VRBOs. Like if we had the money in there, maybe they could get half donated, and then it would be 10 families instead of 5. Maybe we could write them a note saying it that way, that the 30,000 is fine, but we need to kind of help them learn how to spread it further.
And just my only other thought is on that is that if we get $30,000, then they'll come back next year and ask for another $30,000. If you give somebody something, if you give the full ask on somebody who's brand new the first time, it gets a little too easy, and they might not search out other donors as strongly as they otherwise would if we actually didn't give them everything they asked for. That's just, like I said, just my 2 cents worth. We have other applicants who are bringing in people by the hundreds or by the thousands with a much lower ask.
I guess my only kind of question was, the estimated total attendance is 25. That's a pretty kind of hard. And then again, I don't know if there's, we look for advertising mostly, to be quite honest with you. When I say advertising, whenever someone comes down here on a vacation, they go back and they really, man, I had a great time, found a neat little place, don't tell anybody else. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not kidding, just where it's one of those kind of things. And we always look for Tony to kind of look and say, and of course now we have Wes that's gonna be able to say, you know what? This doesn't fit the criteria that what we have funded in the past. Does that basically kind of make sense? Because who's going to look at this and who's going to say yay and nay is going to be would be the board, where they look at how we look at things and say that we're not looking at the amount of people, how many it's draw.
No, I don't disagree. How about
remember when we used to have the fishing?
Yeah.
And how they did it was they had people sign up that how far they were from and so forth. like that.
This is just an idea. How about we give them half of their ask, and then which would be they would get $15,000, and we take the other 15 and split add it to Warrior Surf, Eastern Surf, and Haiti.
Okay.
I just don't feel it appropriate to provide $30,000. I won't vote against it. I just don't feel it appropriate to give $30,000 for somebody who's just starting, who hasn't asked, too many other places, didn't even know where to ask, in all honesty, because you were mentioning things to them about where to go. That would give them the impetus to go and ask other places. They still get a really nice chunk of change to come, bring some families out here, and then we give a little extra money to the folks who are bringing in all those other people. Folks might need another, kid might need another wetsuit or another lesson.
Okay.
That's just a thought.
Well, yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, so
How about you ladies? Any thoughts?
At least.
Yeah.
I mean, it tugs at your heart.
Oh, it does.
Because of who it is.
It is.
In her defense, she said her aunt wasn't able to give the presentation, so there may be things we don't know, all of it.
What would you feel better at 20,000 or something like that? Is that what you think?
I think so. For
20?
me personally, I don't know. I do.
How about William?
18. That's how would we split up? All right, so if we split up equally amongst the, could we run with the idea of providing a little extra funding to the other 3 surf organizations? But if we can do it in a number that's split evenly.
That makes sense.
So, so if you did 20, then that makes it what an odd.
Yeah, it's gonna be
3,300.
I got you.
Keep the extra money.
We don't
in
mind.
You don't mind?
We don't mind
33 cents.
33.
33 cents.
Yeah.
Somebody get an extra penny?
William, can't we just keep the extra 10,000 in the pot, I know, for next year?
We could, but the other organizations bring in so many people, and their asks have always been, I think, it's not my place to understand their budget, but very minimal, for the number of folks that they bring in. And we have so many VRBOs, and we have a lot of tax revenue coming in from all these folks who are taking their homes and putting them into vacation rentals.
Yeah.
We have that opportunity to provide that little bit of additional funding to all those really good causes. So I prefer, because if we put it back in the general fund, then it'll get sucked up by the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
And the city's, y'all got so much money. So the city doesn't need another $15,000.
I think that's why the city puts theirs at the very end, so no one hears how much they're asking.
So look at this nice new, facility we're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, other than needing more fireplace.
Okay, so we're talking 20,000, is that right?
If that's what you want to do.
All right, let's go 20 and then 10 more to.
And then the 10-3 will be split up between Warrior Surf, ESA, and the Wahini.
Okay.
That would be something like $3,433.33.
Somebody gave 34 cents.
Surfing is very important, to the whole community, I think, and it's well documented on the internet.
And what is, I'm sorry?
Surfing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it supports the surf shops and other things too.
Okay, does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
All right.
so everybody in favor?
You want to do a roll call?
Okay, do the roll.
All right. Ms. Rawls?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Christom?
Yes.
Will that help you, Marshall?
Absolutely. We're gonna get trailer lights. Thank you.
All right, so I think, 2 years in a row, we've gotten.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all very much. I think we can call it, we're done.
Call for adjournment.
Okay?
Yeah.
All for-
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Second and third.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all again.
Okay.